This is Taiwan Insider, a weekly news roundup brought to you by Radio Taiwan International. I'm Andrew Ryan.
And I'm Natalie So. Here's your week in a minute.
President Tsai is back in Taiwan after a visit to 4 Caribbean allies and 2 extended U.S. stopovers in New York and Denver. The National Security Bureau chief has resigned over a smuggling scandal. When President Tsai returned to Taiwan on Monday, 2 security agents were caught trying to sneak in nearly $200,000 worth of duty-free cigarettes using expedited customs clearance for Tsai's delegation. Tsai has since canceled those privileges. Premier Su Tsung-hsien has condemned an attack on protesters at a Hong Kong metro station on Sunday. The Taiwan Association for Human Rights says the government needs rules to help refugees. That's with several participants of the Hong Kong protests seeking asylum in Taiwan. The Environmental Protection Administration will start using drones to assess coastal pollution next year. 13 beaches are classified as heavily polluted, making monitoring especially important. And that's your week in a minute.
Every week at the top of our show, we each come up with a word of the week that we think describes this week's news. All right, Andrew, you want to guess my word?
I do.
All righty.
Let's see what you have. I don't see anything.
Oh, okay. It's a short word.
Peabody.
Peabody.
Pen. Purple. Person. Perky. Perks.
All right, the news is all about
Perks.
Okay, officials have been abusing their perks and resulting in a major cigarette smuggling scandal. The president also has some big perks. She gets to go on diplomatic trips abroad, and we'll be hearing from former U.S. National Security Advisor Steve Yates about what her recent stopovers in the U.S. shows about U.S.-Taiwan ties. And we have some perks living here in Taiwan. We have a beautiful coastline.
Yes.
I'll be quizzing Andrew and telling you some fun facts about Taiwan's coastline.
Awesome. I look forward to it. All right, are you ready for my word?
Yes.
All right, so have a look at this. What do you think this is?
Smile? Small?
Close.
Smuggle. Smog. Smoke.
And I think it's obvious why I chose the word smoke, of course, because we have the cigarette scandal.
That's true.
But also there's a great idiom, where there is smoke, there is fire. So perhaps we should be digging a little bit deeper to see what else we can find. Although we also have to worry, at least President Tsai's camp is worried that the smoke is going to obscure the diplomatic trip and kind of overshadow it.
I think it has already.
I think it has already as
Yes.
well. Yep. So that's my word of the week. Alrighty.
Cool.
And also, one other thing we're going to be talking about today is this photo. Have a look at this. So this actually, it looks like a swimming pool, but it is not a swimming pool. This is actually where they shot an Oscar award-winning movie from 2012. So what is that and where in Taiwan is it located? We'll have the answers for you at the end of our show.
We now turn to our top story. A cigarette smuggling scandal is casting a shadow over President Tsai's otherwise successful diplomatic trip to the Caribbean.
Now, this is actually a very complicated story and one that's growing day by day. At the heart of the story is a man named Tsung-hsien. Now, usually when we think of Tsung-hsien, we think of this guy, Jacky Wu, the entertainer. However, this story actually has more to do with this guy. Let's have a look at him. He has exactly the same Chinese name, Tsung-hsien. However, this is a member of President Tsai's security detail and one of 2 suspects taken into custody in connection with the smuggling of nearly $200,000 US worth of cigarettes. Now, there's another difference between these 2 men named Tsung-hsien. Let's have a look at the first guy. Jacky Wu is actually a smoker of cigars. However, the other guy, he is a non-smoker. So now that we've cleared the air on that, let's have a look at this report.
The scandal broke Monday upon President Tsai Ing-wen's return from a state visit to the Caribbean. Security agents were caught attempting to use rapid customs clearance procedures for members of Tsai's entourage to bring cigarettes into Taiwan illegally. Customs officials acting on a tip-off seized over 9,000 cartons from official vehicles at the airport. The cigarettes had been ordered through Taiwan's China Airlines and stored in the warehouse of a catering firm affiliated with the airline. In a press conference, NPP lawmaker Huang Guochang alleged that higher-ups knew about the smuggling attempt and that someone at China Airlines also helped the operation. Huang is calling for the airline's chairman to step down.
What's significant about this story is that a lot of people are involved. The suspects listed about 50 people. Also, the Deputy Transportation Minister said this kind of thing has been going on since 2014.
Now, a lot of government agencies are also involved. Of course, the Presidential Office. We also have the National Security Bureau, the National Security Council, and of course, China Airlines. Now, already the head of the NSB has resigned in connection with this case, and also the president's chief aide-de-camp has been demoted.
And President Tsai says that government delegations will have to go through normal customs in the future.
And you may be wondering about Jacky Wu. He says that ever since this scandal broke, his friends have been asking him for cigarettes.
Now let's take a look at some footage of President Tsai riding a horse. Last week we showed you the president buying bagels. This week it's riding horses with Colorado Senator Cory Gardner. Not something you usually see Taiwan's president doing. She spent 2 days and nights in Denver on her way back from a diplomatic visit to the Caribbean.
President Tsai said the Denver stop was a first. Taiwan's presidents usually transit on the U.S. coast. Now, both of her stopovers in the U.S. this month were relatively high profile. She didn't meet with the president or other top-ranking officials. However, Congress passed an act last year that could make that possible. It's called the Taiwan Travel Act, and that's the subject of today's Taiwan Explained. In today's Taiwan Explained, I'm going to give you a 1-minute introduction to the Taiwan Travel Act.
All right, are you ready, Andrew?
I think so.
All righty, go.
All right, first of all, what do these two men have in common? They both visited Taiwan after they left office. That was due to U.S. government-imposed restrictions in deference to China, which sees Taiwan as part of its territory. Now, in 2016, the Taiwan Travel Act was introduced to Congress, and that act was to allow top U.S. officials to travel to Taiwan to meet their counterparts and to allow Taiwanese officials to do the same in the U.S. Now, China's ambassador to the United States lodged a protest. He sent an official letter to Congress calling the bill provocative and threatening severe consequences. That letter angered U.S. congressmen and women, and in 2018, Congress unanimously passed the act, and President Trump signed it into law. Now, this is significant because the United States is one of Taiwan's most important allies, even though we don't have official diplomatic ties. Who knows, maybe in the future, next time you see President Tsai sitting on a horse, she'll be seated next to Donald Trump.
Andrew, good job! You made it within a minute.
Finally.
Good. Great job, Andrew. And that's our Taiwan Explained for this week. Now let's take a closer look at what Tsai's trip says about US-Taiwan ties. I recently interviewed Steve Yates. Yates is the former Deputy National Security Advisor to U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney for 5 years. He was also the chair of the Republican Party in Idaho.
Now, Yates is also a strong supporter of Taiwan, and he's the CEO of a political risk consultancy called DC International Advisory. Let's take a look.
Well, President Tsai just recently passed through the United States, and she got extended stopovers, like 2 nights in each city. Do you think this is the U.S. way of showing their support for Taiwan and President Tsai at this time?
It's very difficult to say what is personalized about the U.S. government doing something because of who the president is. It certainly is indicative of the administration and the broader U.S. government's comfort that extending broader opportunities to a leader from Taiwan is not going to create unnecessary and unexpected problems. I think anyone knows that by extending these courtesies to the elected leader of Taiwan generates angry letters and weird tweets and other kinds of things from the foreign ministry and other officials in China, and the Chinese media and their sort of spokespeople in think tanks and elsewhere start to rise up and talk. So we know that there's going to be a reaction, but I think it just shows a significant degree of confidence in the relationship with Taiwan. And, you know, if you're elected president, the good things that happen on your tenure, you get to take credit for them.
That's right.
So it's not wrong for the Tsai administration to say, well, it's because of her management of the relationship that the U.S. government trusts her. I just don't know that that's the motivation of the American officials that are making the decisions. And if there was a different president, I'm sure that the same kinds of decisions would be getting made, because there is this growing concern about China. The trade negotiations don't seem to be coming to a resolution soon. The Hong Kong situation has really been a wake-up call for a lot of people. The coverage of the treatment of the Uyghurs is very sort of surprising, shocking, but also unclear how kind of American experts and the foreign policy community are going to respond. So with all of that on China, I think that there's just a fundamentally more open attitude by American officials to say, yep, if the democratic leader of Taiwan wants to come, then these restrictions should get loosened. Now, I would say I am a little bit disappointed that there was strong bipartisan support for the Taiwan Travel Act getting passed by the Congress, and the president signed it into law without any adjustment or commentary. And that is a bill that the sense of the Congress and the law of the United States said that elected officials from Taiwan and high-level officials from both countries can and should freely visit. So I don't think these things should be called transits anymore. I don't think there should be any restrictions. And I think the U.S. law says as much. I don't put that responsibility on the government of Taiwan to raise that issue. I think the Americans who supported those laws should be speaking up saying, wait a minute, who decided that it's only a couple of days and you can only have certain kinds of speeches? It certainly was more expansive for President Tsai this time than at any time since Chen Shui-bian visited in the early 2000s. So that's progress. But I and a majority of the Congress don't think there should be any restrictions at all.
Now, we'll hear more from Yates in a future episode about what kind of candidate the United States would prefer to win in Taiwan's presidential elections.
Every week we share a facet of Taiwan via a number, and today I'm going to take you by number down Taiwan's coastline. And I'm going to ask Andrew a question. If I were going to give you a kayak and ask you to paddle it around Taiwan, how many kilometers would you have to go?
I thought you were going to ask me how many days would it take you. Many, many days. How many kilometers? Okay. Wow. Okay. So I think that it's going to be about 1,200 kilometers.
Okay, that's a very good guess, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right. So before we tell you the answer, let's take a look at this preview of a new documentary about Taiwan's coastline.
妈咪，老师说宜兰也有101耶。妈咪，沿着海边最远可以到哪里啊？
At Yilan's Yueming Elementary School, sailing is a required course for 3rd to 6th graders. The school is known for inspiring a love for the ocean in its students. On May 1st last year, they even sent a group of students sailing to Japan's Ishigaki Island, which is about 250 kilometers away. The school's principal explains.
At Yueming Elementary School, the ocean is our teacher and the coast is our classroom. We're teaching children to embrace a spirit of adventure and overcome challenges as they're out in this coastal paradise.
At a press conference earlier this month, the Interior Ministry presented a new documentary featuring the school called Hello Ocean, We Are in Yilan Coast. Director Lin Fangyi says,
I went to the ocean with the children. We went kayaking and searching for clams and seaweed. And once you get to know the ocean, it's not scary at all. I went to the ocean and filmed for a year, and then took 6 months to produce it. During post-production, I felt really uneasy being away from the ocean.
The documentary is now available with English subtitles. Just search for Hello Ocean, We Are in Yilan Coast. Yilan is spelled Y-I-L-A-N.
Wow, that's so amazing. I wish I went to that elementary school.
It's wonderful. You know, they're the first elementary school to have a sailing club.
Really?
Yes, and that's part of their graduation requirement.
Cool.
To be able to sail. And also, they were the ones who discovered a lost camera that a Japanese woman lost in the sea and found it 2.5 years later. So that was pretty cool, too.
Very true. And
But-
they returned it to her too, right?
Right, she came here
That's
to get
right.
it. And she also
Amazing.
came for their graduation, so they got a connection with Ishigaki Island. But before the video, I asked you how many kilometers you would have to go to travel around the island in a boat, right?
Yes.
So this is the answer. 1,100 kilometers. You're really close.
Oh, very close.
Were you thinking of doing that someday, Andrew?
No, not at all. On a kayak? No.
Well, you know, there was a guy who did that. His name is Mark Western. He's a Canadian expat. We have a picture of him.
Wow, look at
And
that.
he did that in 2004.
That must have really taken a long time.
It
That
took
must
him
have-
34 days, actually a few extra days because of a typhoon.
Wow, 34 days.
Right.
Holy cow. So it would have taken me like 60.
Probably. No. And he said it was fun. He had a blast doing it. Okay, so I have some more questions for you, Andrew.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question, we just saw Yilan Coast, right, in that video. I'm going to take you all the way down now to Hualien. And the most famous part of Hualien Coast is the Qingshui Cliffs, which run for 21 kilometers. They're beautiful, stunning.
Yes.
How high are they above sea level on average?
Okay. I'm feeling lucky today. I'm going to say 1,200 meters.
Okay,
The same number.
let's take a look.
Oh, so how many is that?
800.
800, I was
Okay, higher than you
close.
thought.
Yes.
I mean, lower than you thought.
lower than I thought. Lower than I thought.
Okay, but they're still very high. You don't want to fall off those
No.
or
it's
dive off those.
Very, very striking coastline.
Yes, but it's beautiful. And now we're going to go down to Taidong. Now, what's interesting about Taidong is that they've been hosting since 2016 the half Ironman 70.1. And what it is, it's 70.1 miles. Oh, 70.3, sorry,
Okay.
since 2016. And it's very interesting is that they've been voted the place that people want to come back next year,
Okay.
twice in a row.
Wow, okay.
Because it's so beautiful. They run and they cycle along the Taiwan coastline. And let me tell you about the race, and then I'm going to ask you a number.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
How
the
long is it gonna
race.
take you to finish?
So the race is, they goes 70.3 miles or 113 kilometers, 1.9 kilometers swimming in Flowing Lake.
Okay.
And then they cycle for 90 kilometers.
Oh, no.
And then they run for 21.1 kilometers in Forest Park.
Oh, my
So how
goodness.
much time do they have maximum to do that?
Oh, my goodness.
There's a time limit. You can't do it like for days and days.
I'm going to say it will probably take about 8 hours.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know the answer, like the shortest, the
Right.
quickest. But this is the maximum that they give you.
Okay.
15 hours is the maximum.
Oh.
Of course, I'm sure it's probably shorter for the first person. And then they have a certain maximum for each
Okay.
race.
All right. Well,
So-
I don't think I could do it in like less than a day. So,
Yeah, that's a hard one. I mean, it would be fun to do, but
yeah. Tough.
okay. Now let's go all the way down to the southernmost tip of Hanchuan Peninsula, and that's the location of a very famous and popular film called Cape Number 7. It came out in 2008, and it is Taiwan's highest-grossing film at the box office.
Wow. 海角七号. I remember this movie.
Right?
Yeah, good movie.
And it's a love story. It's really nice, beautiful scenery. And how much did they make at the box office?
How much they make at the box office? Oh, man. This is really out of my range of ability. I'm going to say they made 300 million Taiwan dollars.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's supposed to
In
be
US dollars.
Okay. I'm going to say 100 million US dollars. I don't know.
That would have been really, really good. Let's take a look at the answer.
Okay. Oh, 18 million US dollars. That's still
Right.
a
It's
lot
about
of money.
530 million NT dollars.
Okay.
Okay. So it's one of the highest in history. It is the highest in history.
That's right,
of a
in
Taiwanese
Taiwan.
film.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
all along Taiwan's coast, beautiful coastline.
All right, so if you want to see some of Taiwan's beautiful coastline for yourself, you can check out that movie. Again, it's called Cape Number 7.
That's right.
And that's today's Taiwan by Number. Up next, a look at social media here in Taiwan. It's a segment we call #Taiwan.
This week on #Taiwan, RTI social media guru Leslie Liao tells us what's trending in Taiwan.
Hey, Leslie,
How's it going, guys?
what do you have for us this week?
Okay, so this week, Taiwan's flag is trending, or I should say the Republic of China flag. Technically, Taiwan's flag is the Republic of China flag. So earlier this week, a trailer for the new Top Gun movie dropped on the internet. Now, this is a direct sequel to the 1986 Top Gun, which starred Tom Cruise as the character Maverick.
Remember that?
Now,
yeah.
Tom Cruise and Maverick are both going to return, but with one key difference to their wardrobe. UK journalist Mark McKinnon writes, there's a new Top Gun movie coming out, and Maverick is wearing the same leather jacket, only this time it's Communist Party of China approved. So the Japanese and Taiwanese flag patches are gone. He attaches 2 screenshots to show the before and after difference.
Wow, look at that. So you can see that the flag has definitely been changed.
That's right.
Both of them.
So why does this movie need Chinese approval? Well, Mark kind of answered that, or he tried to answer that with this follow-up tweet right here. He says, mystery solved. China's Tencent Pictures is one of the main producers of Top Gun Maverick. So a Chinese company is funding the film, but that also means that the storylines in Top Gun Maverick might be limited. Rory Medcalf, he's a professor at National Australian University, says, fair to assume the new Top Gun movie won't involve America honoring its security commitments to Japan or Taiwan then, or indeed to anyone having trouble with China, which leaves some implausibly narrow plot points. Now, one more really cool fact about the Taiwan flag surfaced on Facebook earlier this week. Tony Oberly posted to Facebook, recently this unique item has come up for auction from the estate of the late Neil Armstrong, first man to walk on the moon. This flag of Taiwan was flown to the moon on Apollo 11th in 1969.
That is so
look
cool.
at that.
That's right. Now, this flag flew to the moon back in 1969 when the US and Taiwan still shared diplomatic relations. However, it's not the only flag to make it to the moon.
Wow.
The second flag for sale flew on the Apollo 15 mission in 1971, and it belonged to the astronaut Al Worden.
That is so cool.
Now, the really cool thing about this is this all coincides with the 50th anniversary of the first landing on the moon, which the world celebrated on July 20th earlier this year. And I just think it's really, really great that the Taiwanese flag got to take part in so much great history. What do you guys think?
I had no idea
I had no
about
idea that
That's amazing.
astronauts like our flag so much.
Yeah. Went to the moon. Went to the moon.
And you know about Hollywood, I mean, this market in China is huge. It's the second largest market, and there are a lot of Chinese co-productions. So China's having a major influence on Hollywood. I really wonder if there are going to be any more sinister portrayals of Chinese characters anymore.
That's actually a really good question. Although I have to say, Hollywood has this habit of vilifying foreigners.
They
so
do. They used to
maybe-
vilify the Russians.
Yeah.
And now they can't do to the Chinese because they're too important, right, as a consumer market.
Yes, and if you're looking for, an American villain, I'm your guy. Come find me.
All right, so that's this week's hashtag Taiwan. Be sure to follow us on all relevant social media and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
And finally today, we're in Taiwan. Now at the top of our show, we showed you a photo and asked if you knew what and where it is. Let's have a look at that photo once again.
It looks like a really big swimming pool.
Yeah, but those waves are a little bit too big to swim in, I think.
Okay, so where in Taiwan is this? Let's take a look at this video.
So as we said, this is not a swimming pool. This is the wave generating set where they filmed the ocean scenes for Life of Pi. That film picked up 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director for Taiwan-born director Ang Lee. He sent a congratulatory video on Monday for the opening of the brand new Central Taiwan Film Studio in Taichung, which now houses that pool.
And the pool is not the only selling point for the complex. One of its 3 large indoor studios features a hydraulic platform. Filmmakers can put a car on top of it and recreate an outdoor scene with whatever environmental and visual effects they choose. The studio also boasts some of the most advanced cameras, lenses, and lighting equipment. The goal is to make Taiwan a great place to make movies for local and global filmmakers alike.
I would love to make a movie there.
You like to go swimming in that pool?
I wouldn't mind that. Maybe I'd prefer sitting on that hydraulic platform in a
That'd be
cool car.
That would be cool.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our program today. We hope you enjoyed it. Please do connect with us on social media and leave a comment below.
And check out the links we have below to the topics we covered in today's show. For Taiwan Insider, I am Natalie So.
And I'm Andrew Ryan. See you next week.